Hi everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. And today we're talking leaks and news for Season 3 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show, and I'm excited. I like these kind of videos. They're my favorite. It's why I made the channel, realistically, because I like knowing things before other people. I like sharing that stuff with you guys, or I just like geeking out about the Wheel of Time just in general, and if it's new in anything, any way, shape, or form, I like talking about it. So if you like that sort of thing, if you like the Wheel of Time, we talk Wheel of Time all the time here in the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Tell 2 of your friends, because I'm terrible at selling the channel myself. I'm real bad at that. I'm terrible. So you folks are doing a fantastic job. Please continue to do so. I really appreciate it. The channel wouldn't grow without you folks putting the effort in, for sure. All right, so normally I would give a spoiler warning now, but I'm going to give it near the end of the video because I'm going to try to do a lot of the video spoiler-free because there's some stuff that we can talk about that is very light or almost no spoilers. So we'll talk about who is filming in South Africa. We'll talk about where they're filming at in South Africa. And then we have a couple other little housekeeping things I want to talk about. And then we'll jump into the spoilers. We'll talk about the actual leaks. Because yes, there are a bunch of leaked photos from the South African sets right now. And I want to talk about them in detail because they're pretty interesting. I don't know what else to say. They give us a lot of clues as to what's happening. And I want to talk about them. But that'll be in the spoiler section at the end of the video. So, some of the stuff comes to us from WoTSeries.com, so I've left a link to the article down below in the description box. They talk about the starting of filming for this section of Season 3. It started February 12th of this year, and they expect to film for about 2 to 3 months. And they also talk about where they're going to film at. So we know for sure they're filming at Cape Town Film Studio. It's a giant studio in South Africa. They do a lot of specialty work there, and they've constructed a number of sets for the Wheel of Time. So they are filming there for sure, but there are a couple of other locations that I'll talk about in the spoiler section because they spoil some things that we do know of as well. WoTSeries.com is quick to point out that we know that Aiel Smart will be there. She plays Avienda. We know that Josha Stradowski, who plays Rand, will be there. We know that Moraine and Lan, so that's Rosamund Pike and Daniel Henney, will both be there, and a few others. So we're pretty sure we know what they're filming. But again, we'll leave that for the spoiler section of the video because I'm going to do some wild speculation as well, considering some of the things we have to talk about. Yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. But again, I've left a link to their article down below in the description box. Please go over there, check it out, read the article when the video's done. And of course, bookmark their page, check back off, and they come out with all kinds of Wheel of Time news, and they're absolutely fantastic people. Please support them in any way you can. All right. That's the non-spoilery bit of the leaks that we're going to talk about. But before we get into the leaks, I want to talk about this. I know a lot of you out there in the Wheel of Time fandom are also in the Lord of the Rings fandom. So there's a little bit of overlap. Not a huge overlap. There is a little bit of overlap between our communities. And there are a number of YouTube channels that started when Lord of the Rings Rings of Power was incepted. Just like Wheel of Time caused a renaissance, I guess you'd say, in YouTube channels. Myself and a bunch of other people all kind of started around the same time with Wheel of Time. It's the same thing for Lord of the Rings. Now, the people over at Lord of the Rings that are like me, they have a channel similar to mine. They talk about news, they talk about leaks, they talk about all kinds of other things. They come up with some huge things for the Rings of Power, a lot of castings, a lot of different things. They mirror what I do here for the Wheel of Time in the Lord of the Rings world a little bit, not totally, but a little bit. They're sort of like me. Have released a statement. Now, the statement says, Fellowship of the Fans has been made aware of a long-term plan carried out roughly over the last 6 months by the production and team members of Rings of Power to release and spread false rumors pertaining to Season 2. Due to this revelation, Fellowship of the Fans will be halting any releases of future reveals and scoops for the time being in order to undertake a full investigation and reevaluate and analyze our previous scoops and reveals for Season 2 to see if we've misreported anything or released purposeful misinformation and to get to the bottom of all of this. From what we understand, this attempt was to catch out people who are leaking in the crew and to make sure in the future that outlets would be leaking out wrong information. We will get back to you guys in a few weeks in time to update you if we have any updates from our investigation, which will include a list of the headlines, big scoops, and reveals from us and other outlets that we can confirm is true and not misinformation. Signed, Fellowship of the Fans. This is something that I was and have been and will always be terrified of here at What Up because we deal in leaks. We do. We talk about leaks a whole lot. There is a reason this channel has not been invited to anything by Sony and Amazon. I've gone to a premiere. I missed out on the set visit that a ton of content creators got to do last fall at the Two Rivers. I don't get the swag boxes. They get the bathrobes and all the other fancy things that Amazon and Sony send out to these folks. I don't get any of that. It's because I talk about leaks. And one of the things they don't like about it is that we reveal and talk about leaks here on the channel. It's just one of those things. But we do it in such a way that we are as sure as we can be about what information we reveal. We also do it in a way that is as responsible as we possibly can be, because we don't want to hurt the IP. We here love the show. We love the Wheel of Time. We love everything about it. We don't want to release things that are going to hurt people or put people's jobs or livelihoods or things in danger. Not everyone that does leaks and things do that. I try to be as transparent as possible with you folks. So because of that, most of the leaks we release here on the channel have been vetted a number of times in multiple different ways from multiple different sources before I release them. Now, I have a fairly good track record here in the channel. I think I've only released one leak in the whole time I've been doing Wheel of Time news that wasn't true, and it was because the source was good, multiple sources were good, but the context was wrong, if that makes any sense. And that was that Aiel was going to be in season 2. And that came right on the heels, or right before rather, me releasing the casting for Aiel for season 3, and I redacted that immediately in the next video. It's just one of the things. I can't always be right. Nobody can always be right. It's just one of those things. If you're wrong, you release that information. But this is concerning mainly because I 100% could see Wheel of Time doing this. So far, up to today, all of the leaks we've seen in the fandom have been true. We've seen them play out on screen for season 1. We've seen them play out on screen for season 2. We haven't had any misinformation purposely fed to us, I don't believe. But say it's not going to happen, but I want to assure you folks that I do vet anything I get multiple times in multiple different ways from multiple sources, and some of them will know, let's put it that way. So I do my very best here. But when we talk about leaks, always take it with a grain of salt. Always take it with the caveat that it may not be 100% correct or true, because it is not the official release from Sony and Amazon. Even if they don't do official releases for a lot of this stuff, just take it with a grain of salt unless it comes from them. It's fun to speculate. It's fun to have. I'm having fun here. I know you folks are too. But just remember, this is happening in the Lord of the Rings fandom. It hasn't happened yet in the Wheel of Time fandom, but it might. I mean, it's Amazon, same company, so we'll see what goes on here. All right, so I want to get that out of the way because I thought it was a very, very important thing. I love Fellowship of the Fans. It's a great YouTube channel. They come out with a ton of great information, and they are very passionate about Rings of Power. And I hate to see things like this happening to them, because it's just it's kind of depressing to see someone who is so excited about something get caught up in something like this, and then have to rethink everything they've done. So heart goes out to them, and of course, I want to let you guys know about it, just because it may happen here too. We don't know. So I'm trying to be very, very careful. All that being said, we're going to get into the spoiler section of the video now, because we're talking about the actual leaks. Now, I'm not going to show them. And there is a reason I'm not going to show them, because some of these photos are from the sets themselves. Some of these photos are taken on closed sets where there was no permission for photography. Some of these photos were taken from people's personal social media. And that being said, it's very easy to link these people to the photos, and you can get people in trouble for this kind of thing. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about them. I can describe what's in the photos and talk about them and tell you where I found them. I certainly can do that, but we definitely don't want to get anybody in trouble, and we don't want to showcase that stuff here on the channel that might get someone in trouble for it. So there's that, but we'll definitely talk about it. I mean, it's leaks. Of course, we're going to talk about it. So for the next part of the video, spoiler warning, we're going to talk about some elements of season 3 here that are likely going to spoil things from the books and the show. So if you haven't read the first 4 books of haven't read the first 4 books of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, not Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time series, and that's the Eye of the World up through and including The Shadow Rising. And if you haven't watched the first 2 seasons of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show, there you go, got it right that time. Be forewarned, I'm going to ruin plot points and character arcs from both those mediums. Plus, we're talking season 3, so it's going to ruin stuff in the future from the show. But if you've read the books, you probably know it's coming anyway. So that being said, let's get on to the leaks. All right, so now we're into the leaks portion of the video. We gave the spoiler warning, so we're good to go. I do want to reiterate the fact that if you folks are in and around any of these areas, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to talk to you about the area at the very least, see where things are in relation to each other, what things are used for, what they look like, because I'm not familiar too much with South Africa and its geography, and that would be incredible. And I know a lot of you people out there, or at least a few of you, are from South Africa that watch the channel. And if you happen to be nearby and you know anything about the production, drop me a line, please. I'd love to hear from you about that as well. So this first location is from Atlantis Dunes. It's a popular tourist destination in South Africa, and I'm guaranteeing the pictures don't do it justice. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So there are a number of leaked photos here. These leaked photos all come to us from Narg from the Daily Trolloc at Wheel of Time Love over on Instagram. If you guys want to follow him over there, he tends to take pictures that other people post on social media and finds them, and he's very good at that. And he releases them, especially Wheel of Time type stuff. So there's a ton of pictures there. I won't show them. But we will talk about them. So the first couple I want to talk about are from Atlantis Dunes. Essentially, it confirmed that this is an area that they are filming in. There are Aiel on set. It's an open set outside, and there are tents there as well. But the tents happen to be parked or constructed near vehicles. So the quality of the photos aren't great, and they're from further away. So it's not entirely. I'm not entirely sure if these tents are props or if they're used by the cast and the crew while they're there to just get themselves out of the heat for a little bit. I don't know, but they do look. They do have the eye look and the ideal look of a sweat tent to me, but it could just be the way things are constructed for the cast and crew. I don't know, but there are Aiel on set there, and this is likely going to be the waste for sure. Now we've talked about this. We're doing spoilers, so what they're filming in South Africa for the next 2 months are scenes from the waste. So we're talking outside shots probably. The studios themselves are probably doing some stuff from Meridian. We know they had already filmed from Meridian, that infamous or famous Aiel city in the waste, because Brave Jenkins had mentioned it a couple of times before when he was flying in for interviews that he'd come from the set where they're filming things like that. So I don't exactly know 100% what they're filming here, but these are the waste scenes, and the characters on set all make me think that they're doing the waste scenes. Now, there's also a ton of other photos, and the photos happen to show what I believe to be a hold. So there are rocky outcroppings, there are big fire pots, there are some really cool looking woven doors kind of over top of these natural cave formations. Or they're not natural, they're made for the show, but they're made to look natural. So they're probably going to film in and around a hold as well. So is this going to be when Rand, after Rand goes to Roydian? That was filmed earlier, and now this is just the waste stuff, him interacting with the Aiel out in the waste and traveling back towards the wetlands? I don't know. Are they going to do the Golden Bowl? I have no idea exactly what the storyline is going to be for Season 3 with the waste or what pertains to the waste, but we do know they're filming those scenes now. Now, there's also a couple of other shots of goats and other herding animals and some Aiel in the background of them. So it looks pretty neat, and the Aiel look exactly as you expect, what we've seen from Season 2 with Avienda, Bane, and Chiad. They look exactly like that. They all look gorgeous. Like the costumes are still top-notch and whatnot. Now, we talked a little bit about who's in and around there that we know for sure. Now, right now, I don't believe I have heard anything about Donald Finn being in South Africa filming for The Waste. I also did not hear anything about him being on set for Roydian. And I leaked here on the channel probably about a month ago or more now that he will be in scenes in Tenchiko with the girls. That's Elaine, Min, Nynaeve, Tom, and they're doing their own sort of thing there, and I speculated the Abu Dar and Tenchiko storylines be mashed together. My question is he going to go to the waste at all? So we've already seen him, we believe, gain the memories that he would have gotten going through the Redstone doorframe by blowing the Horn of Valier. Matt's story is, I think, probably the biggest change from every character in the series so far on screen, so it's hard to interpret or to guess what they're going to do with him next, because they're trying to kind of like bring him in a long arc around back to where he is. That all kind of started with Barney Harris leaving the show. Maybe he will end up in the waste, but I've seen no indication of it, and I've had no one else I've talked to has seen any indication of it. So my guess is maybe he won't be there. So if you know anything about that, drop me a line. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that Matt will be in the waste at any point at all? Now, Matt's scenes in the waste were some of my favorite of his in the book series, and in my opinion were the ones that really kind of set the standard for him going forward after that. It's where he really kind of picked up all his Mattness. Like he was just sort of he was just kind of there until the waste, and the waste is the switch that flipped that really made him a favorite character in my opinion. So I'd be sad if that wasn't there, but They're probably going to do it in a different way, I would assume. I just don't know how that's going to play out. Will he find a door frame in Tenchiko? Will he not do the door frame at all? Will he just find the artifacts while he's there? The Shandari and his Foxhead medallion? No one knows. But if you folks happen to want to speculate about that, let me know in the comments down below what you think. All right, so again, we know they're filming waste scenes in South Africa. We know they're likely filming scenes in holds. And Cape Town Studios is a closed set, so they could be filming anything. So they built custom sets for them inside there. Could be anything or everything in those custom sets. So if you have any speculation, what you think is going to be filming in them, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if we see any more photos or leaks, I'll let you know here first in the channel. And I want to thank you all very much for sticking with me here to the very end. Here's to many more.